Hello everyone, welcome to the preview for the Europa League final. It's all or nothing for Big Ange and Amarin, both teams near the bottom of the league. One manager might be sacked anyway. Amarin's future could be a lot brighter with the trophy in his first season. Does the head-to-head record count, or does that go out of the window in a massive cup final with United's experience? It's a massive game. It's only 2 days away. We've got Sam McCabe and Shreyas Singh alongside me to pick the bones. Good evening, gentlemen. How are we?
Yeah, doing fairly well.
Yeah, not nervous yet, but ask me again like Wednesday. I might feel a bit different.
Yeah, well, let's dive into the United news, all the latest stuff heading into this final, lads. It seems like there's a couple of players who might be a doubt for United, but apparently, Shreyas, we've got Dalot and Yoro who are available for the final and they're there for the selection process, which makes it very interesting. Would you start, I take it, Lenny Yoro from the off, and what would you do with Diego Dalot? Would you risk him as well, or still start with Mazraoui?
It's a very tough call because the thing is, if Dalot starts, then you also have the opportunity to play Ahmad in one of the 10s from the get-go of the game. You also have the opportunity to play Mazraoui, I would say, in the right-sided centre-half position where he is much more impactful, I would say. So I think having Dalot in does open up a lot of cards for you, because I think if you go into the final and you have a backline of Lenny Yoro, Harry Maguire and Mazraoui, I think it's a competent backline to have. You know, you've got Yoro, who's been in flying form. Mazraoui does an impeccable job in there as well. Maguire has been quite a solid part of that backline. Then you've got Dalot on one side, who I won't say that is a sensational player as a wing back, but at least it helps us to accommodate more players in different positions where they can cause more problems to a team like Spurs. And in that scenario, I would play Dalot.
Yeah, I get that. Some massive calls for Amarin, Sam. So many big decisions. We discussed it briefly on Saturday about the false nine. You look at Højlund with the centre backs. You look at Van der Ven and Romero potentially playing. Is now the time to risk? Do we risk it? And it's tough for a manager, because you just think if he does go with it and it doesn't work, that's all everyone's going to talk about in it after the final.
Yeah, I think if he did do it, I don't think many people would be, if it didn't come off, say, I don't think too many people would be like, oh, we should have played Højlund. Do you know what I mean? Because he's not like he's had plenty of opportunities, is it, over the season? Like, he's played a lot and he hasn't produced the goods. So I don't think many people would go against the manager and be like, oh yeah, you got that wrong, because he's played him all the way through the season. It's not worked. And we've seen it from Erik ten Hag as well. Like, he played a certain way all season, and then when it came to the final, against City, he changed it up, and he got the win, and he got the trophy. And I don't think many of us were like, oh, he should have carried on playing the way he was, because he would have got battered. And he changed his tactics, and he got the win. And we outplayed City. Like, we didn't do it just by like sort of cheaping our way to it. We outplayed them.
Yeah, the narrative. Sorry, go Sam.
Will he do it? Probably not. Should he do it? I would if I was manager, but he's probably not going to do it. So we're probably going to see Højlund anyway. So the point is kind of mute, isn't it? Because he's probably not going to change it.
Yeah, there's a lot of running narratives for this game, and one of the things, Shreyas, is a lot of people going on about the head-to-head record and how they've beaten us 3 times before. But surely the experience comes into this for us. Like, everyone's talk about multiple different things, right, that can happen, and Premier League clubs that come up against each other, but we still have players who've experienced big finals. Cass, Bruno, Mount, Onana, Maguire, Shaw, loads of them.
Most of the players
have experienced, and I think we've mentioned this before as well, though, and I don't think a lot of the Spurs players have, from what I know, my common knowledge Romero. Anyway. Maybe only Romero, yeah, with Argentina, basically.
Yeah. Was Bentancur in the World Cup squad? Or was he
Uruguayan?
Uruguay never made it to the knockouts.
Yeah, so...
where's Tell from? Is he French?
France.
Yeah.
Did he go with France?
No.
No. Don't think so.
Okay.
No, I don't think so. So they're very inexperienced with this. They are missing big players like Kulusevski and Maddison as well. Do you think they might be more nervous in that regard?
I think they'll be more confident going into this game, considering, like you mentioned, the head-to-head record. But I think, in a way, that's a blessing in disguise for us. Because if it was a situation where United had beaten Spurs 3 times already in this season, and then we, moved into the final with United's having the favourites tag attached to them while playing in the final, I would be a lot more scared. Because I know that whenever this team, you expect them to do a job, you expect them to, be the dominating side in a particular game, they just end up completely falling over. I think right now, moving into this game, Spurs are the out and out favorites. With the way the players they've got, and how they have actually turned up against United every single time this season. But again, that might actually work into our favor, because honestly, even Spurs don't know what to expect from United moving into this final, because in the Europa League, somehow we've been so clinical with our chances. Somehow, even though, I would say we get dominated for 70-75% of the game, but what we do in the remaining 20-25% is so impactful that the entirety of the game just completely, changes on his head. So if we can replicate that in the final, which again, I see a lot of goals in this final, it will just come down to the fact as to, who has the able to hold, the tempo of the game in those moments.
And obviously it's not just...
Sorry, I just wanted to add to Shreyas' point. Also, we don't know when we're beat. Like, the amount of games we look absolutely out of the game and you're thinking, this is done, the cup runs over, and we come back. So, theoretically, Spurs could go up 2-0, and I would still put money on us to come back and score 3 goals.
Yeah.
Because we've never beaten. So, in that way, it doesn't matter how many goals they score against us. You still put money on United coming back from it and equalising or getting a win out of it.
Yeah, I've said this for a few days now. Theory goes out the window for me when it comes to this game. That's what I'm saying. Like, people talk about head-to-heads and how Spurs have played against us before. In a one-off cup final, Europa League, where they've never been before, where we've got experienced players and we've actually got confidence in there, it's a different game completely, I'm telling you. I'm not saying we're going to absolutely dominate, and I don't think that by any stretch of the imagination, and we'll speak about Spurs in a moment. But having said that as well, Sam, it's not just the starting 11. Historically, obviously, we know from European competitions, the bench can be super important. So obviously, depending on what team start, and I know I've got a different team to you guys, but how important will the subs bench be as well? You think if, I don't know, let's say, for example, Mainu, Garnacho, De Ligt potentially on there as well. They're impact players, aren't they? A couple of them.
Yeah, like, I don't want to spoil my team, but I haven't selected Garnacho because I think he's way better off the bench. And I think if Spurs hold out for a while, or say it's close or something like that, bringing Garnacho off with 20 minutes to go to run at that defence, who are tiring. We know Van der Ven's got hamstring problems. Is he going to want to go full force? Can he run at him and make some sort of decision there? So I think off the bench, he would be really impactful. Say we're really lucky and we're in control of the game, having somebody like Collier to come on and just control the tempo, get on the ball, keep it nice and simple, not make any stupid mistakes. Like we've seen him, he's been brought on a couple of times before to sort of control the tempo of games, which would be great as well. So yeah, the bench is going to be really important. Obviously, fitness of people pending. We don't know where things are with the likes of Lenny Yoro, the likes of Matthijs de Ligt. Apparently, he is not 100% that he'll be there, but he's working as hard as possible. How important could he be in shutting down the likes of people who are like maybe Son and people like that coming up against him? So yeah, the bench is going to be really important. I think it's just a shame that we don't have a striker on there that we could bring on to sort of cause chaos and score a goal, isn't it? So
that's the main thing. And they've got someone in Solanke who has scored against us as well. But yeah, I take your point about that. I think even Matthijs de Ligt has been in a fight. Well, semi-finals, wasn't it, when he crashed out to Spurs when Lucas Moura scored the last one. He was a part of that. A part of the
last
final
season as well.
For Ajax. Last season, was he?
Yeah, with Bayern, he was in the semis.
Oh, Bayern, yeah. So you got that as well. Sorry, I thought you meant with United then. I was like, huh? So yeah, de Ligt, and then Ahmad, I didn't realise as well, has lost 2 Europa League finals. He mentioned. I don't know who that was with, because obviously one of them. Well,
is it Braga? Was he?
No, he played for Rangers. One of them was with Rangers, wasn't it, when they got beat off Frankfurt?
Frankfurt.
Yeah.
One with us, with Villarreal.
And then one with us with Villarreal, yeah, of course, as well. But obviously he's not part of the first team kind of squad there with that. So obviously he's going to want to win this as well. But I thought it was interesting, the parallel between both teams, Shreyas, with Tottenham heading into this. Completely different approach. They rotated against Villa. They still lost. But as well, they haven't won in the league in the last 10 games as well. So in the Prem, they're equal form to us pretty much. They've been absolutely dog shit. What do you make about this debate? Because there's a whole thing ongoing at the minute about United and Spurs shouldn't be in the Champions League if they win the Europa League. What's your whole kind of thought process around that? Because that's the main narrative running, again, coinciding with both teams.
And Palace going to be in the Europa League next season because they lifted the FA Cup.
Yeah. Not heard anyone say anything about that, have we?
Where are they in the league? They're 12th.
Yeah.
So it's just a narrative because it is Spurs and United being there, and I think everybody knows that even if no matter who wins, moving into next season, whichever club will wins will have more financial leverage to actually move inside the window. And considering how things are, both teams are in dire need of additions, and if they do make additions, both clubs would be in a much better position come next season. And I'm sure if Spurs win it, they would at least finish in the top half. If we win it, at least we'll finish in the top half. It won't be as bad as it has been for us or them this season. So I think people take that into certain sort of, reflection as well. And I think it is well earned. You look at the run that we've had, no one would have put money on United to beat a Spanish team in the semi-finals, let alone the favorites to actually, win the entire competition. And our record against Spanish teams in semis and quarterfinals has been abysmal.
Yep.
So to go out there and beat the likes of Sociedad 4-1, then beat the likes of Lyon 7-6, then beat the likes of Athletic Bilbao 7-1, it's not easy. And I know that we haven't really been playing peak football in those games, but whatever we have been doing has had a big impact. And it has cost teams, a lot in moments, and we've been able to capitalize on our opportunities moving into the final. And again, I also read a stat somewhere. I wouldn't call it a stat, but Mourinho and Amorim would be the same age if Amorim wins this European title. The age at which Mourinho first lifted his first European, and Amorim lifting it with United, they would be the same age.
Interesting. And also you had Mourinho who won a Europa League with Manchester United, didn't he? It feels like back in the day now. But yeah, I mean, there's so many comparisons with and I don't like this because it's Spurs and United, but there is a lot, even with the injuries. Like, we've got a couple of big injuries. They've got some big injuries as well. Sam Maddison, Kulusevski, Bergvall, all their probably arguably starting midfielders are a doubt. I think Sarr as well has pulled up with a bit of a back injury or something along the lines of that. Yeah. So you think about the makeup of their midfield and how they've been performing as well in the Europa League. Are you expecting a different performance from them?
It's just, I find it weird that there's been a massive deal made about the Spurs injuries, but nothing's been said about United, has it? Like, nobody's mentioned that 4 out of our back 5 are missing in this team, potentially. Like Leniotto, De Ligt, Lisandro Martinez, and Dalot, all who probably start in this team, 9 times out of 10. Like, they're completely missing, but nobody's mentioned that, but it's what it is. It's... Obviously, the creative midfielders there with Maddison and Kulusevski, like, very creative, like to create opportunities, very good at scoring as well. Like, Kulusevski had a really good run at the beginning of this season. Like, he was on fire for a bit. Maddison's had his moments in and out this season, but on free kicks, especially set pieces, he's very good. So, yeah, to not have those threats available is definitely going to be a dent in Spurs' sort of attacking line. But they still got Son, who on his day is a very, very good player. I know he's not been great this season, but on his day when he shows up, he's phenomenal. And Solanke, who's has he got 15 goals this season?
15, 16, something like that.
Yeah. So it's not a bad record. Seems to be doing his job. So, and he scored against us, obviously. So yeah, they've still got players in there who can cause damage, but it's definitely a bonus for United that you haven't got 2 of their most creative players on the pitch. Like, imagine we didn't have Bruno and Ahmad. Like, that'd be a serious dent in our team, like a really big...
Yeah, we actually would be fucked if we didn't have them to be honest with you. I won't see us. I won't give us a chance at all. From the 3 games that we've played against them this season, Shreyas, in your mind, I don't know if you can remember much of them, because obviously some of them was quite a while ago, but you've certainly got a better memory than me. You've got the 3-0 at Old Trafford, the 4-3 in the Carabao, which was a crazy game, and then the 1-0 at their stadium as well. But the one thing that sticks in my head is the Van de Ven moment. He just runs through all of our players. And I just don't want a similar situation like that happening again. So, yeah, what do you think we can tweak from those games? Why do you think they've beat us 3 times convincingly? Like, what's the difference in the teams for you?
I think the first time I don't even need to put an explanation in front when we lost 3-0 at Old Trafford. I think everyone knows as to why we lost that game, what went wrong, and how Spurs actually capitalized on it. Because again, there was no midfield in that game. Their centre backs, Van de Ven, and their fullbacks as well. The amount of joy that they had moving forward, and with just moving in, blitzing through our midfield, blitzing through our defense, and just putting one simple ball in, and the ball just turns up in the back of the net. So we allowed Spurs to play high-line intensive football in the first game. They were able to play it, and they completely decimated us. Second game, I think it was an amalgamation of errors. I think the goal, I think Bayandir was very shaky in that game. I think in that game as well, there were a lot of poor performances in the back line because, again, we were acclimatizing to the system. But on top of that, it was just there was no connection in between the attack, the midfield, as well as the defense. And even when we brought on Xerxes, we brought on Ahmad, they did have a big impact in that game. We were able to close it down to 4-3, but it was just too late for us to mount that sort of a comeback. Then in the next game as well, I think both the teams were crap in the third game. There was no energy. Both of the teams looked like they were lackluster when it came to creativity and ideas, and just no clinical edge. And Spurs were just again able to capitalize on the moments that they got and turned up with a goal. I think the third game was not a game where I would say Spurs were too good for us or United were too good for them or something like that, or the scoreline flatters Spurs. I think it was honestly two teams not playing that well, not in form, but Spurs were just able to take it over the line. I think going into this game though, Spurs do have a lot more issues in comparison to United, because I would say their first choice midfield is out. Madison being out is a big blow. Kulusevski has created trouble for us every single time he's come up against us. So him being out is another big miss. Bergwall looked very good for them in midfield. He's out. Sarr has been pretty good for them, especially against United, and he's out as well. So even they have to accommodate different sort of players into that midfield, different sort of players into the attack. One thing that has worked for them though is that Jet Spence has come alive for them. Because of the injuries, he's been given the opportunities. So there are players to look out for, but I think only midfield is a position where we can actually outbox Spurs.
Yeah. Let's paint the narrative then, Sam. Going into this, the scene is set, the fans are roaring, the whistle's about to go. First 20 minutes, what are you expecting?
It's probably going to be a bit cagey, I imagine, the first 20 minutes. Because obviously United don't want to make a mistake and give Spurs an opportunity in the first 20 minutes. Spurs are going to be a bit overawed by the occasion, I imagine. It's only their second final, I think.
Well, they did one in 2009, didn't they? The League Cup.
Yeah.
I think there was one other thing before that, but yeah.
Yeah, so not many final experience, whereas we've had, 3 finals in the past 4 years or something ridiculous. So it's a bit more of a similar feeling for us. So yeah, I think it'll be a bit cagey. The one thing that sort of worries me is us making some sort of mistake and allowing an opportunity to happen, because it seems to happen pretty much every game. We just seem to create issues for ourselves, whether that's when we play out from the back and it's just like I watching it is like watching somebody drive your car into a wall, isn't it? You're just like, oh my god, there's nothing I can do about this, and they're just about to ruin my car. So that's terrifying. And then they're playing out with Onana, like playing it long,
clearing the ball out from a set piece,
gifting possession. So there's a lot of stuff like that where they could leap on an opportunity and cause us an issue, which I don't want to happen, especially early. So yeah, after that, I'm hoping we can get on the ball a bit more, take some control. I think their defense is quite solid because they got most of the people back, but I think we can play through that midfield. I think that midfield's a weak spot. So if we can dominate that midfield and get Bruno on the ball, Casemiro on the ball, likes of that, hopefully we could cause issues. It's just putting the ball in the back of their net. That's going to be the tricky bit.
Yeah. In a weird way, though, the way this Europa League's gone, I have a feeling it's just going to be a bit of a barn burner me. I think it's going to be a bit of a tear up. I think it might be cagey at the start. I think you might be right, but I think once the first goal goes in, I think it'll be... Yeah, it'll be. I don't even know a way to describe it. But this, you think about the Lyon game, you think about Bilbao, you think about the Sociedad game as well, the one at Old Trafford. It has been pretty scary, and we have scored goals. And I think with Ahmad back on the pitch, that's another massive thing for us. So, yeah, who are the players that we're looking to? In fact, before we get into that for the ones to watch, let me just get into the comments because there's quite a few. Big up everyone who's in the chat, by the way. Please do smash like the video, subscribe to the channel. Anonymous Mango saying, LFG, fellas, United 3, Spurs 1, Solanke, Bruno and Ahmad is going early. Mark Palmer saying Bruno will get one, but I really don't know if we win this. Dutch manager wins FA Cup and Portuguese manager winning the Europa League has happened before. Saar, Bergvall, Kulusevski, Dragic, Madison are key players for Spurs, all missing. It'd be horrible if they managed to beat us again. Pat saying we have Harry to push up into the box. He loves it. And Andy saying what worries me is them 20-minute spells of madness we do near every game. Spurs could score a couple goals easily. That's a fantastic point, by the way. Yeah, that is something that I hate that is associated with United, that they do have that kind of spell where, I mean, they had a 70-minute spell in the second leg against Bilbao, didn't they?
Yeah.
Like 70 minutes of just, oh my God.
We had what was it, against Leon? We had like a 65-minute spell of just complete madness, and then just decided, oh, there's extra time. Is there? Like, all right, we'll start playing now, and just madness.
It's interesting to see what's going to happen, how they set up both of them tactically, and what kind of tweaks they make and what they go for. But that's tactics, when you get right into like an A license, that's way above my pay grade. So I'll leave the managers to do that. Ones to watch for you lads in this game: Man United and Spurs. Who's going to be the danger men?
I have 3 for United. Bruno, Ahmad, and Mount.
Okay, interesting.
For Spurs, Son always seems to score against us. I would say Son and Spence.
Yeah, I can see that. Sam?
Yeah, Solanke's going to be a problem, depending on the defensive lineup. Like, if Lindelof's in the lineup, I worry. I really worry, because obviously Yora's up and down with the doubts and stuff, so that worries me. So Solanke's definitely an issue. Big lad, bully people. And yeah, Son, he just seems to show up against United, doesn't he? Every time he plays us, he just seems to show up and do something. So he definitely worries me. For United, it has to be Ahmad. Ahmad is the cheat code that we have. Like, he has to. He's the only way I see us like getting an early goal or creating something out of nothing. Just because I think the rest of the forward line is just not dependable. Obviously, Højlund's had his issues. Garnacho up and down. Mount has not had that many minutes. He's not really shone. He had a great game the other week, but he's just not had that time. And then, yeah, we've been relying on Bruno for everything, so they'd be the ones I sort of look at.
Yeah, Ahmad and Bruno are I want to look at, well, they are the obvious ones, aren't they, that I would go with. I agree with Mason Mount as well. I think he's starting to hit a bit of form at the right time. Spurs, Solanke, and you know what? I don't know why Van der Ven is just a name that keeps in my head. I don't know why. I just feel like he's going to do something, either like a red card or a 1v1, or I don't know what it is. Just something in my head about that. So that's the name I'm going to throw out there. Couple of key stats for you. So Tottenham have now lost 25 games in all competitions this season, the most in a single campaign in their history, while 18 league defeats for United is their most since losing 20 in 1973. United have also gone 8 league games without a win, drawn 2, lost 6 for the first time in an 11-game stretch between December 89 and 90. Meanwhile, Spurs have just won one of the last 11 Premier League games since beating bottom side Southampton in April. And the last one for you, they've also conceded in each of their last 12 league games, their longest run without a clean sheet since 17, between August and December 2010. That is just, couldn't be in worse form in regards to the league going into this. It's crazy that both teams are in the final. It really, really is. Now, let's go into starting 11s. Jesus. 1 second. Because that is just, I don't know why it's done that. Sorry, people. Let me just quickly edit this. If there's any comments that one of you guys can read out just whilst I sort this
I'll
out.
read it. David Harrington, Solanke is always good versus us too. Andy Williams, some reason my gut is telling me Mount might do something. If I'm at Bruno Casemiro have a good game, he should win. They could carry us. For Spurs, it's Porro, good on the ball. MUFC forever. Hello all. Hello to you. HMG United Cunha is hopefully a good signing, but I'd look to bring in Shekri on a free. It seems a no-brainer. Is he on a free? I thought he just had a really cheap release clause.
I thought it was like 20 odd mil.
Yeah,
25 mil.
David Harrington, have we ever lost 4 in a row versus a team? Not that I know of, but there's always a first time.
I was about to say, there's always a time.
Also, what worries me is Crystal Palace have just won the first trophy in their lifetime. Newcastle have just won the first trophy for about 50 years. And Spurs have not won a trophy in a long time. That worries me. That's a
But Spurs are also Spurs as well. Do you know what I mean? So they are, if any club's going to do it when you've got all them kind of narratives being played into it, Tottenham are definitely the club to be like, yeah, we're still shit and we'll still do it. So there's something there. There's something there, I suppose. Right, I've got my team on the screen, so I'll quickly go through that because you two have got the same team, I believe. So I've gone with Onana, Yoro, Maguire, and Shaw. I think just that back three for me personally is just the best in terms of balance and in terms of experience, and obviously Yoro being a young talent. I don't want to see Lindelof. I'm the exact same as you guys. I'm pretty sure no one wants to see him starting in the team. And I think second half defensive flair, maybe drop Maz back into one of the wide centre halves and then bring on a Dallo if he's fit enough. At wing back, you're going to need Casemiro and Ugarte in that midfield because of runners. I think Basuma, maybe Sarr if he's fit. Bentancur, Gray, they've got legs about them, so that's something that's interesting. And I've gone with Bruno as the false nine, dropping between the lines, and I put Garnacho and Ahmad either side of him to make the runs in behind. I would have done with Mount, but Mount's not that. He's good in that kind of area, but he's not the one who's going to kind of penetrate the defence. So Bruno false nine, Ahmad and Garnacho either side, and then Mainu, Mount, and Dallo, maybe Højlund off the bench, drop Bruno deeper, etc. That's what I've gone with, lads. So talk me through yours, please. Sam, you go first, maybe a couple of players, and then Shreyas.
Yeah, so I have gone with a slightly different team. So I didn't know the fitness of Yoro. I don't know what his status is. So I've not put him in the team just because I'm not sure where he's at. So I didn't want to put him in just in case. So I've gone with Mazraoui, Maguire and Shaw. I think that's the strongest sort of centre-backs we can put. I don't want Lindelof in there. I don't want him anywhere near it. I put Ahmad at right back. I'm trying to get in as many creative and goal-scoring players in the team as possible. So I put Ahmad at right back just because I think Mazraoui don't offer that much creative player. Dallo is a doubt at this point. Obviously, Dorgu on the left. And I've put Bruno and Mount behind Højlund just because I don't think he's going to drop Højlund. Like, I just don't see it happening. But yeah, Shreyas.
Yeah, I've gone pretty much with the same 11. I think the only change I would have probably made is, again, if Yoro is available, I would put him out. I should put him in and put Shaw out. But barring that, I've gone with the same 11 as well because, again, he has had plenty of opportunities to drop Højlund, but he's never really done it, even in the biggest of the biggest games. So I think he's going to again go in with Højlund. Maybe as the game grows, he puts on someone like a Bruno in the false nine, then puts Garnacho on. I think the best play would be to actually put Garnacho on against tired legs because that's how you can probably get the best out of them and actually trouble that Spurs backline.
Who's got the better bench, you think, for when we go into extra time? United? And you got to be careful almost with that a little bit. Let's say it is 1-1 in the 70th and extra time is upon us. You've got to use your subs wisely then, haven't you? Especially given the fitness of some of the players as well.
You've got Garnacho, who's the game winner, isn't he? Like, he can come off the bench and do something. Like, he's definitely a game changer. If you're not starting Mount, maybe he comes on. He had a really good 30 minutes, didn't he, against Bilbao? Like, probably arguably he's best in the United shirt. So if you're not playing him, you're not starting him. He's an option. And then you've got people like Collie who could come on, like I said, could control the game and sort of bring the pace down. Spurs, they're quite limited. Like they're probably going to take a lot of kids, aren't they? Because their game changers are going to probably be starting. Like, they're not going to have many sort of game winners off the bench, I imagine. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Like, if Spurs are going to win it, I think they're going to have to go up and score early and then try and hold it. I think that's the only way. I don't see them winning it late just because of the lack of options off the bench.
Yeah. Shreyas, is that team enough to get the job done?
Maybe.
Okay, I like that positivity. Let's do a quick fire round. Who will score first, lads?
Spurs.
Oh, come on.
We always concede. We always
concede first.
Playing. We concede and then we go, oh shit, we're playing now, and that's when it
but that nerves me after that. If Spurs score first, who gets booked first?
Ugarte. He just seems to get a yellow every single game, doesn't he?
Yeah, Ugarte is probably a fair shout, to be fair. Will Ange get sacked regardless?
Yeah.
If he loses, definitely. If he wins, I don't know. It would not surprise me if he won it and he still got sacked. It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, same. If Bruno wins us this game, let's say he scores the winning goal and it's a banger or whatever, does he deserve a statue?
I think he'd have to win a Premier League.
Yeah.
Or Champions League.
Okay.
Yeah.
Same question to everyone else. Get it in the comments. Who gets player of the match?
Ahmad.
Casemiro.
I like that. Realistic and bold prediction time, lads. Who wants to go first? The biggest prediction of the season. And be honest.
I could honestly even see it going to pens.
I fucking hope not. I can't watch penalties.
If it goes to penalties, I'm chucking myself off the roof. Like,
we had pens last time, and you know how that ended.
10-9 against
Imagine a scenario, penalties, and Onana's taking the 11-1.
Winning penalty. Scores the winning penalty.
Yeah.
Onana.
Oh my god. Wow. Yeah.
It would, you know what? That would happen. It would not surprise me with his team.
No.
Yeah.
Honest to God, would not surprise me.
Also, wouldn't surprise me if you just towed it over the bar as well and just did
Yeah.
like that head in the hand thing and was just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
oh god.
And after the game, he goes, blame me, not the other players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take blame for this, and you're like, you fucking idiot.
Trust me, we will fucking blame you. Trust me, we will.
So if it does go to penalty, Shreyas, if that's your genuine prediction, who wins?
If it goes to penalties, I think we win it. But I think it goes to pens and we win it.
We've got some good penalty takers. Like even our defenders are good penalty takers. Like Maguire's a good penalty taker. Shaw's a good penalty taker. Lindelof has got a good penalty. So I think we've got some decent penalty takers.
Yeah, we've won a couple, but we've also lost. I think we lost one to Fulham, didn't we? When we went out, which wasn't great. So yeah, I don't know if I'd fully trust us on that. Sam, what are you going with?
Easy prediction, I would say. Ahmad scores or assists. I think that's an easy one, because I think that's pretty much happening. Bold prediction that Onana does not make a mistake. He has a good game.
Yeah, I think he might be busy.
It is his fifth game without making a mistake. He's at the point.
Enough of that talk. Cut it out. Cut it out now. Don't want to hear anything about him making a mistake. What's the scoreline going to be?
2-2.
And then we win on pens. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Is yours positive, Nick?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're winning. We're winning, definitely. 3-2. Ahmad, Bruno double.
Whenever you've gone with a draw or a loss, we've actually managed to pull through.
Okay. 2-2. No, I honestly, I think it's going to be a bit of a nervy back and forth game, but I think United, just history, culture, I think we beat them 3-2.
I think 2-1. They score first. We equalise, goes into extra time, and Bruno with a winner.
Okay, so we all think unanimously, for the first time probably in a long, long time on this channel, that United are going to win in the final.
And then we'll get absolutely bitch slapped by Villa on the win.
No one gives a fuck about that game. Like, I've been quite thingy on the Premier League, but if we win Europa League, Sunset, fucking, whoever it is, fucking Tom Eaton, get your boots on. Johnny Evans, get your boots on. Yeah. You sort that game out, lads. We're going on.
We still have Johnny Evans. I forgot.
There we go. We also asked the viewers at the start of the game on a poll, who do you think genuinely wins this game? And obviously it's going to be United bias because it's a United channel. 85% said Man United and 15% said Spurs. Who were the 15%? And show yourselves and let us know why.
Make yourselves known, you absolute bottle jobs.
Yeah, I'm interested to know that. Just the last couple of comments and then we'll head off. MUFC for us says we have to win the duel in the midfield. It's bad with Casemiro and Ugarte, can win the ball. Feed Garner, break defences with the pace. Bruno should be feeding Garnacho. Andy's saying Højlund against pace and power defenders. Long day. I totally agree with that. David saying I wouldn't be surprised to see Heaven, although it's a long shot. I'd trust Heaven over Lindelof. It's crazy though, isn't it, considering the experience of Lindelof.
He only got, what was it, like 10 minutes?
Yeah, he's not starting.
So I don't think he starts.
No. I think we have to play Luke Shaw left wing back in this game. I don't care if he breaks.
No. Don't do that. Don't do that. No.
Any news on Lenny Yoro? I think Lenny Yoro's going to start this game. I think he's going to start
Could well be. He could well do.
He's available anyway. So
he's in the squad. So I imagine it is a possibility.
Z's going with 2-1 United. Nath saying Ryan Cherky has a release clause of 30 million euros. United should be all over that, honestly.
Yeah.
He's also saying 3-2 United. Spurs will score first, but we beat them. And David is saying if we win the Europa League, score 3 own goals and quit the game FIFA style versus Villa. Yeah. There we have it. There we have it. This has been the preview for Manchester United versus Spurs in the Europa League final in Bilbao. An absolute colossal game in Spain between two clubs who are near relegation. It's just crazy the kind of times that we're in at the moment. But winning it could absolutely change the landscape in the future for both teams. So it's a huge importance heading into this. There's going to be a lot of nervy fans. I hope anyone who's out in Bilbao genuinely enjoys it. And hopefully we bring home the trophy. For news heading into that, check us out on Instagram, on all our socials, Twitter, TikTok, and also subscribe to the channel if you're new and you've enjoyed it. Nice to see so many of you in the chat. Leave a like for us before you head off. And me, Sam, and Shreyas will see you guys tomorrow.